batteries and specifically their shape. Have you ever wondered why so many batteries built for domestic use are round? It's for strength, because having no corners, they have no point of weakness, and every part is as strong as every other part. And that's important, because inside these things are some very powerful, rather hazardous chemicals acting as the electrolyte, the crucial ingredient of any battery that allows the flow of electrons between the metal terminals. You only need to read the labels on batteries to know that these are not the sort of chemicals you should let children play with. One of the most common electrolytes in car batteries is sulfuric acid. And just look what that can do to this lump of meat. 1 hour later...
Wow, look at that. That's horrible.
The acid has penetrated the protein chains of the meat and broken them up completely, causing the dramatic change in colour. Then it's ruptured the blood vessels. But there are batteries we use in our everyday lives which manage without all those powerful chemicals. They use stuff around them in their environment as the battery's electrolyte. You know the life jackets that you get shown at the start of every commercial flight? Well, they've got a small light on them that's powered by a seawater battery.
Oh, my light's on. Salt water acts as a very effective electrolyte. That's why Volta used it in the very first battery.
And as soon as you hit the water, this battery starts working to produce enough current to get that light flashing.
There is another liquid that we all produce every day that acts as a very effective electrolyte.
Johnny, is that enough?
Wee-wee.
This is one of the world's very first urine batteries. Wee on the green arrows, and it can deliver 3 volts. It's still in the early stages of development, but one future use may be home testing kits, where the urine being analysed is also powering the actual test. Now, I bet you didn't know that. The fact is that there are potential electrolytes everywhere, the best ones being very acidic or very alkaline things, and that means you have a whole host of potential little batteries sitting in your fruit bowl. But we want to know which is best, apple or lemon. To get the apples working as an electrolyte, we need to insert discs of 2 different metals into each piece of fruit. We're using zinc and copper. Although each individual apple only produces a very small charge, by linking up 36, we should get enough charge to feel something. The boys will be gauging the amount of volts using their tongues. Your tongue is one of the most sensitive parts of your body with millions of nerve endings, and saliva is a good conductor.
OK. Close your eyes. No. Yeah. So I don't want you to know it's coming, you see.
Remember, the boys are testing 36 apples.
Disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bit of it. Come on, do it again. It's definitely working, but it's not...
A little bit more?
It's not painful.
The 36 apples produced 30 volts. The question is, can the lemons produce a shock victory?
36 lemons. What does that give us?
Surprisingly, the lemons actually produced a slightly lower voltage, but that's only half the story. You see, voltage is potential, the pressure of electricity waiting to flow. It's a bit like the pressure in a water pipe. What makes an electric shock really hurt is the current, the rate of flow. If the lemons are producing more current, then the shock will hurt more.
Yeah, there's more belt on it. OK, big fella.
Yeah. Definitely a slightly bigger buzz. And the winner is, and undoubtedly the most shocking fruit, the lemon. Stop it, Richard.
Now, in theory, you could use a lemon battery to power something useful, like, say, a light bulb. But by our calculations, you'd need hundreds of thousands of lemons to do it, and that's just silly. Later, can 60 massive batteries make this milk float go fast enough to beat a world record?
The average UK citizen will brush their teeth over 40,000 times in a lifetime, using a staggering 80 litres of toothpaste. And it's such a routine part of our everyday lives that the only time we think about it is when it runs out. Now that's a shame, because toothpaste is fascinating stuff. Tooth care remedies have been around for thousands of years. The world's oldest surviving formula is Egyptian, and it was made from mint, flowers, salt and pepper. It dates to the 5th century AD, and by all accounts it worked very well, although it did have the nasty side effect of making your gums bleed. Having said that, it was far less hazardous than some 20th century brands.
In the Second World War, German scientists from the nuclear industry developed radioactive toothpaste with thorium for their domestic home market. It cleans, it kills germs, it's radioactive. Fantastic. Now, why didn't that catch on?
So thorium wasn't a great idea, but other additives were much more successful. In 1901, a dentist in Colorado Springs noticed that locals had far fewer cavities than was the norm. The reason was eventually tracked down to high natural levels of fluoride in the water. From this basic observation, fluoride quickly became the dental wonder additive of choice.
So what goes into modern toothpaste, and how does it work? Well, the #1 ingredient is something abrasive. You know, something to scrub your pearly whites.
For this, toothpaste manufacturers typically use baking soda, or chalk, or even silica, which is a refined type of sand. Then many add whitener, flavouring, something to make it foam, something to bind it all together, and finally fluoride. Now, did you know you can make your own toothpaste out of simple household ingredients? For this recipe, all you need to do is mix 3 tablespoons of baking soda with 1 tablespoon of salt. Then add 3 teaspoons of glycerine. Mix them all together with a dash of water. And finally add 1 teaspoon of peppermint, and hey presto, do-it-yourself toothpaste. For a proper test of its effectiveness, I'm going to stain my teeth with licorice.
And some very sugary pop. That'll fur them up, that'll do a treat. Now my teeth feel awful, so let's put this homemade toothpaste to the test. Actually, that does seriously feel good. That is much better. It tastes quite minty, very abrasive, it's incredibly salty, but it's cleaning my teeth. That feels so much better. And hopefully my teeth look a bit cleaner. Homemade toothpaste, it works.
Tea is the world's favourite drink. It's hard to imagine the morning without a cup. In fact, we love it so much that here in Britain we drink 165 million cups every day, and 96% of these are brewed